lot of people say, oh, I'll be happy when, I get $1 million. How can you bring that feeling into the now? How can you appreciate all the dollar bills that you do have in your bank accounts? I'll be happy when I have a romantic partner. Why? Because I want to go out on dates. Well, I know it sounds weird, but take yourself on a date. I'll be happy when I get this dream job. Why? Because I love what I do every day. Okay. Are you looking for ways to love your day now? And I know it sounds a little weird to practice things before they're in existence, but I'm also going to tell you that doing nothing and expecting things to change also sounds a little weird. Welcome back to Create Your Fate. I am Life Coach Meg Ellis, here to help you create your best life ever, beginning with your thoughts and your words. And today we're talking all about happiness. I mean, who doesn't want to be happier, right? Everybody wants to be happier. So I thought this would be the perfect time to share a personal story actually with you where I had a missed opportunity for happiness because I was thinking about this experience that I'm about to share with you, and it made me realize we miss opportunities for happiness all the time because our brains have been wired to look for things that aren't working out for us. And one of my favorite examples to use, and maybe it's because I live in Houston and the highways are crazy. It's, I think, the fourth biggest city in the country. And these highways are absolutely wild. They're 8-lane highways each side. You're merging on, you're merging off. We have something called feeder roads here. It is wild. There are so many people here. And I love using traffic and, road rage or anger while you're driving as these examples of where our mind can take you that are obviously the exact opposite of happiness. And we miss these opportunities. And something happened to me the other day. I was actually driving home from coaching a client, one of my favorite clients. And I'm hopping on the highway. And I'm merging onto, one of the 8 lanes of traffic. And how it works here in Houston is you can merge on, and then that merge lane essentially turns into the exit ramp that is for the next exit. So people are merging on and merging off at the same time. So you can see where someone might easily get frustrated with these types of roads. And I easily do get frustrated. And this is something that I've shared on this podcast before. Something that I'm overcoming is my affinity for pointing out what everyone else is doing wrong on the highways. And if you're like me, definitely tune in because you are missing out on happiness right and left. You will never unhear this. So the other day, I'm driving home, I'm merging onto the highway, and someone was merging off at the same time that I was merging on. So we have a quick moment where we're in the same lane, I'm getting on the highway, this person is getting off. And I noticed that this person did not use their turn signal. And I'm at this point in my anger on the road journey where I no longer get actually angry. I am actually just acknowledging myself like, oh, this would make you angry, right? That's part of the consciousness process is, okay, I understand that this type of thing makes me angry. I'm not going to emotionally erupt here, but I notice, hey, this kind of makes you angry right here. And so I'm just in this point where I'm maybe a little bit more calm than I've been in the past. And I'm looking and I'm saying, hey, this guy is not using his turn signal. Yeah, that would make me angry. And it was just interesting that was what I focused on. And because I was in this calm state of mind, I was able to kind of assess the other situation because it's Houston. There's always cars on the road. There's traffic many hours of the day. And so in this particular moment, it was not just me and this one driver on the road. There's all these other cars, 8 lanes of traffic, right? 8 lanes of people weaving in and out. And what I actually noticed is when I took myself out of that situation where my mind automatically went to saying, hey, you didn't use your turn signal, buddy, right? I took myself out of that frame of mind. I just happened to look at the other 8 lanes of cars. And I got to actually notice, whoa, that person used their turn signal. Oh, and this person did too. And then I keep, looking down and all these people are using their turn signals. And it made me realize, whoa, a lot of my unhappiness that would have been in this situation was caused from me focusing on the one thing that I didn't like. Somebody didn't use their turn signal. And had I not been in this frame of mind to actually observe from kind of a, out of body experience, like looking down at myself, observing all of these other cars that actually were using their turn signals, I wouldn't have been able to realize, wow, the majority of people actually do abide by the traffic rules, right? Abide by the speed laws, abide by general etiquette on the road. And that is a missed opportunity for happiness. And one thing that we're going to talk about on today's episode is happiness is a choice, and it doesn't always feel like we do have a choice. And I'm going to go over 3 ways where you are missing out on happiness, where you can actually bring happiness into your life. Because if you're like me, I guess maybe an older version of myself, past version of myself, would have just focused on this one person. I would have allowed that person to annoy me. A friend of mine recently told me this. It blew my mind, and I wanted to share it with you. That annoyance, right? That anger, that was already inside of me. This person just brought it out, and I allowed that to happen. That is a choice. And then when we choose and allow to bring unhappiness into our life, we can also choose to see if we want that to stay there. Or we can pick, hey, I'm actually going to choose to focus. And it does feel really hard at first when you're new to choosing happiness and allowing happiness into your life, choosing to focus on the things that are going to make you happy. So 3 ways that you are missing out on happiness. The first one is the example that I just shared. You are not looking for it. You are missing out on happiness because you are not looking for it. You are looking for ways to be upset, or you are allowing yourself to look for ways to be upset. You're allowing yourself to be angry and annoyed, and you're looking for those opportunities. And I'm here to tell you that this is not your fault. You have been literally wired to do this. This is something that your brains just do. Look for discourse in your life in order to protect you, right? Hey, you didn't use your turn signal. I have to be alert so you don't crash into me, right? And I can choose to focus on that and also allow that emotional response to follow, right? And this is why I love traffic and driving examples, because it's something that I feel like everybody can relate to, because we've all been driving and put in these annoying and angry and potentially unsafe situations, right? Where these emotions can just flare up almost out of control. But it doesn't have to be out of control. What you do is you alleviate this control and this need for control of controlling all these other things in your life, all these other drivers on the road, and then you make space to actually allow happiness to come in, right? You got to look for ways to be happy. Look for all the drivers that are using their turn signals, all the people who are driving the speed limit. Look for those opportunities, right? You are missing out on happiness because you are not looking for it. And if you're not looking for happiness, start to wonder, what am I looking for? In my example, I was looking for a way to be upset. I'm going to allow this guy who didn't use his turn signal to upset me, and that was my choice. I was looking for it. And the number one thing to remember about this example is you always find what you look for. So you just have to reframe, reshift, and refocus what you choose to look for, and ask yourself, what am I choosing to look for in this situation? Most of the time, and I've talked about this on the show before, if you are unhappy, or if you're frustrated or angry or annoyed, you are probably focused on one of 4 things. Something you can't control. I can't control that guy didn't use his turn signal. Something you cannot change. Can't change that either. Something you don't have. Drivers with etiquette on the road. And something that you don't want. People who are driving unsafe on the road, right? So things you can't control, things you can't change, things you don't have, and things that you don't want. If these are your focal points, if you are looking for these things, you will find them. And that's the point. So all you have to do is just choose what you're going to look for today. Hey, I'm going to look for a way that this is going to work out. I'm going to shift, what can I control? Well, I can control slowing down my brakes to have this guy cut into the lane that I'm in. I can control that. I can change my point of view. I'm glad that nobody was hurt here, right? I'm glad that I have all of these other drivers on the road who are abiding by the rules, right? So you just have to change what you're looking for. And that is a choice. And that choice is yours, right? We always feel that we don't have a choice and things are external and outside of us. And I'm here to tell you that that is a big lie that your brain is telling you that is keeping you from being happy. Choose to be happy, right? Life, I think we can all agree on this. Life is better when you're happier. And sometimes I can acknowledge, yes, I want to be mad right now. I looked for the way. And I already did look for the way to be upset or angry or annoyed. And I'm choosing to allow myself to feel that way. Or I can just say, you know what? I just don't feel like being mad right now. I don't. And that is an internal choice. And that brings me into the second way that you are missing out on happiness because you are waiting for it to come to you. Right? You are waiting for that $1 million to drop into your bank account. Then I'll be happy. You are waiting for that dream house to be happy. Bring it to you. Right? That is a secret that a lot of people miss out on. You are waiting for things external of yourself, so things outside of you, to bring you joy, bring you happiness. And I have a whole podcast episode on I'll be happy when syndrome. I'm going to tag it into the show notes so you can actually click on that link. It's going to go all about this I'll be happy when and waiting for happiness. But I'm going to tell you, you are missing out on happiness now because you are not bringing it into the current moments, right? I'll give you an example of I can't wait until I have my dream home so I can go out in my backyard oasis and drink coffee in peace and read in the morning and just have that Zen moment in my perfect little oasis backyard in my dream home. That actually does sound really nice, and we can acknowledge that, right? It doesn't have to not be nice. We're not going to lie to ourselves. We're going to tell the truth here and say, yeah, that sounds really nice. But's the kicker here. But I can't be happy until I'm there, right? So we're going to actually replace the word but with the word and. This dream house, this backyard oasis sounds amazing and it will bring me happiness. And I can be happy now, right? Not but I can't be happy until it's here, right? It's and I can be happy now. We are under this false impression that we have to wait to be happy until things are perfect, right? Until we get that thing that is outside of us, when really, if we realize that happiness is within us and we take that wherever we go and whenever we go, that's a missed opportunity that we don't have to miss out on anymore, right? You want to have this backyard oasis and drink coffee and Zen moments and journal and read and have this amazing experience. Yes. And we can do that now, right? But I can't do it because I don't have the house. I don't have the backyard oasis. No, you can have this backyard oasis and this beautiful experience to look forward to, and you can be happy now. I bet you are probably not having coffee and journaling or meditating or whatever you want to do, reading on your back porch. You're not enjoying your current situation because you're waiting, because you're under this false impression that I'll be happy when I have this thing in the future, right? So it's not just about being happy where you are in life. It's about being happy when you are in life. You can be happy anywhere in life, and you can be happy anytime in life. You don't have to wait. So if you don't really subscribe to that, if you don't believe that, I'm going to challenge you, because you know I love a good challenge on this show. If you're waiting for something to happen, do it now. If you're waiting for happiness to come to you, bring it to you now. The example, dream home. Yes, it will bring you happiness, but you're missing out on the opportunity for happiness now. See what having coffee on your back porch would look like now. What can you look around and appreciate in your current experience? Because that's a big thing about manifesting is you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So if I'm not choosing to be happy now, and if I'm missing out on these opportunities for happiness now, if I'm unhappy now and manifesting is you don't get what you want, you get what you are, then even if you move into this dream home with the Zen oasis backyard that's perfection, it's not going to bring you happiness. So I don't want you to have to wait till whenever that happens to find that out. I want to save you time, and I want you to practice being happy now, right? So go out into your backyard and have your coffee and look around at all the things that you can appreciate in your life. Because another thing with manifesting is what you appreciate appreciates. So what you focus on, what you look for, you get more of. And your brain actually looks for more reasons, right? Whether it be happy or unhappy, to support what you are already focused on, right? If I'm in my backyard and it's really small and the neighbors are loud and there's a big electrical pole right in my backyard, okay, I could choose to focus on all of those things, right? Kind of like that turn signal that wasn't used. Or I could look around at all the things that are making me happy. Hey, my dog's here. He makes me really happy. I really like this espresso that I just made, and this flavor is really good. And I really do like this one tree right in my backyard. And you start to look for ways to be happy, right? And you can bring them to you. So first, you got to look for the ways, and then you got to bring them to you. And you realize you don't have to wait till everything is perfect to be happy. You can be happy now, and you can be happy later. And I guarantee you, if you practice this mentality, you will be even happier later when you get it, right? A lot of people say, oh, I'll be happy when, I get $1 million. Okay, why? What would you do with it? Okay, how can you bring that feeling into the now? How can you appreciate all the dollar bills that you do have in your bank accounts, right? How can you have that gratitude for what you have? How can you bring it into the now? If you want to be happy, I'll be happy when I have a romantic partner. Why? Because I want to go out on dates. Well, I know it sounds weird, but take yourself on a date. Take yourself on a nice dinner. I mean, don't you deserve that? Right? If you think you'll be happy, I'll be happy when I get this dream job. Why? Because I will, wake up at 7 and I'll have this routine and I'll love what I do every day. Okay, well, are you waking up at 7 now? Are you looking for ways to love your day now? And I know it sounds a little weird to practice things before they're in existence, but I'm also going to tell you that doing nothing and expecting things to change also sounds a little weird. So just be open-minded and try it. And the last way that you are probably missing out on happiness kind of piggybacks off of that last example of I'll be happy when. In the future, I will be happy. Or in the past, I was happy. Most of the time, our minds do not live in the present moment, right? We live in the future, anxiety. We live in the past, or I was happy, I'm not happy anymore. Or maybe you have guilt over things that you've done in the past. And happiness truly only exists in the present moment. It's a huge lesson. Happiness exists in the present. But if my mind is not in the present, it's always in the future or the past, what can I do? Well, you got to practice being present. And how can you do this is get out of your mind, right? The first thing you have to realize is no amount of anxiety is going to change the future. And no amount of guilt is going to change the past. So all you have is right here, the now, the power of now, the present moment. And if I have trouble getting my mind to focus on the present moment, what can you use? Well, you have this tool that you walk around with every day that you probably don't use at all. And it is called your body. Because your body can never be in the past. It can never be in the future. Your body can only ever be in the present moment. And it is a huge tool that you are missing that can add to your happiness by allowing you to be present. The first thing, your breath, breathing. We breathe all the time, but you probably just do it unconsciously. You don't have to think too much about breathing. Just breathe, inhale. Just take a really big, deep breath right now. And let it go. It feels good to breathe. It feels good to feel good. So let's allow ourselves to feel good more. Breathe. Come back to your breath. How about your body, right? Can you wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes? Right? Just seriously, do it right now. Unless you're driving, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can use your senses. Your senses are always there. Your body. Use your body. Use your sense of smell. What do you smell right now? Is there a perfume in the air? Is there coffee? Is your neighbor cutting the grass, right? That fresh cut grass smell. What is it? Smell right now. What do you smell? What do you feel, right? What's the temperature on your skin right now? What does your left elbow feel like? You ever think about that? What about sounds? What 3 sounds do you hear right now? And first, you're gonna, obviously hear those big ones. You're gonna hear my voice. Maybe you are driving. Maybe you hear some traffic in the background. What do you hear? And first, identify those big sounds, but then start to tap into the quiet sounds. Maybe the air conditioning's running. Maybe can you hear your heart beating? Or if you're in a really quiet space, start to identify 3 sounds that you didn't hear before. And do not do this if you are driving, but I want you to close your eyes if you are sitting still in a stable and still place. And when I tell you to open your eyes, I want you to look around your space wherever you are and notice something that you've never seen before. Okay, open your eyes and just look around, right? I noticed there is a green extension cord on the ground behind my camera. Use your senses, use your body, use your breath, right? These things will help your mind slow down to take out of the past, take out of the future, and come back into the present. And the good thing is you have access to it all the time, no matter what. You always can use your body. So 3 ways that you are missing out on happiness and 3 ways to fix them. You are not looking for them. So you just have to start looking for ways to find happiness because you always find what you look for. That second way, you're thinking that you have to wait for it. No, bring it to you. Bring happiness into the moment. And that third way, use your body. Get out of your minds. Use your body. Stay present because happiness only exists in the present. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked this episode. I hope it helped. Be sure to subscribe. I produce content like this weekly. Send it to a friend who also might be missing out on happiness. So share this with them. 3 easy ways to be happy. That's all I got for you today. But if I could leave you with one thing, it would be this. Expect good things always, and they will happen.